I left Canada for multiple reasons.
Of just honestly hating my life. Like, I couldn't stand
coming, and I've wanted to leave for a long time, but I think I never worked up the courage enough to do it.
I am finally moving out of Canada.
They've lost hope in Canada's future. When your country stops working for you, you go elsewhere.
This is not good. Canada is having a mass exodus. People are leaving Canada in numbers not seen since 1967.
I will never buy another property in Ontario ever again.
Not just a hearsay, it stated numbers of how many Canadians were leaving Canada in the past 4 to 5 years.
More and more people are leaving Canada. Not because they hate the country, but because survival has become difficult. Rent is too high. Groceries are expensive. Even after working full-time, many people can't save anything. People came to Canada with hope. A better life. Better future. But reality feels different. This is not giving up. This is choosing peace over pressure.
Today we're going to be talking about the real reason why a lot of Canadians want to leave Canada right now. There's a lot going on in Canada, and a lot of people are oblivious to certain parts of it, but the real reason why people want to leave Canada right now is because the economy is shit, pardon my French, and people don't know if it's going to get better anytime soon. People don't know when we're coming out of the financial crisis. People don't know when the rent rates are going to go down or when the housing prices are going to go down. People don't know when they're going to find jobs. So there's a lot of things going on in the mix right now, and they're not talking about a lot of it.
Reason number 176 why you should leave the country and not live in Canada anymore. This morning, for 2 croissants and a matcha latte, I paid $17.18. That is above the minimum wage that you can make in Canada. So if you're making minimum wage, the barista who served me the 2 croissants that were definitely just cost 50 cents to put in the oven and my matcha latte, God bless her, she was the sweetest girl, I would have had to work an hour and a bit to eat that croissant and have that matcha latte herself. An hour of her time. Also, it's cold here, so. In any European country, you'll pay like €1, maybe €2 max for a croissant. $9? No.
The main reason why we're leaving Canada after living here for 6 years is mainly because it's not worth it anymore for us to be away from our family and not being able to visit them as often as we would want to because of the high cost of living and everything else around. When we moved here, it was extremely painful for our parents. I know it was, even though they were excited for us and were very supportive, but it was very painful for them to accept the fact that their kid is moving away pretty much forever and they will only be seeing them maybe once a year, maybe twice a year max. But they knew it's all going to be worth it because based on our qualifications and our brains, we could do more with what we have somewhere in a first world country that is so much more advanced. And for them to see right now how Canada is struggling and seeing on TV how Canadians born and raised here are crying and not really knowing how to cope with the expenses and with the prices and everything, and the fact that I have been waiting for a doctor's appointment for 9 months, and the fact that we cannot leave our noisy downtown apartment because the rent has gone up astronomically, and a few other major issues that are not really being solved at all. It kind of made us all wonder, why are we here now, and why don't we try to live the best years of our lives somewhere where at least you can be closer to your family and freaking have some sun. Canada is a great country and we will miss it a lot, but you gotta do what you gotta do for your own happiness, you know? And I'll be documenting my journey so I have all the memories here in one place.
People with actual resources and money are leaving Canada. This is no longer just a rumor. This is not something that's just been circulated on social media for likes. It's actually happening. I was reading a Financial Post article out there that actually stated numbers, not just a hearsay. It stated numbers of how many Canadians were leaving Canada in the past 4 to 5 years. And guess what? In 2024, last year, around 100,000 Canadians left Canada permanently for good. In 2025, it's been almost 27,000 so far. Now, what people are not realizing are the implications of these numbers, is the fact that it's obviously people with resources and money that are leaving Canada. They're leaving with their resources. They're leaving with opportunities for creating businesses. People could have been employed if these people stayed here and kept workers going. But yeah.
So why did we decide to leave Canada and why did we choose Florida? I already made a video about why specifically we chose Florida. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. What made us want to leave Canada? Well, we always wanted to leave because how could I say this? We didn't align anymore with the ideologies of most people that lived in our area. And we didn't like the cold. And when the thing that happened, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it on TikTok, so when that thing happened worldwide where everything was shut down and our business was shut down and everything, we kind of realized that we no longer had control over our future and our kids' future. So we had already wanted to move, but we kind of expedited that process. So our dream was always to live in the US and to live somewhere warm and to be able to work year round. And so that kind of expedited that. I wouldn't say it was the main cause, but it made us want to leave a little bit faster than anticipated. And so we did. And we align a lot with the ideologies down here and the whole live and let live thing, where everybody does their thing and it's like a melting pot of different cultures and people are just here to enjoy their lives. And we truly commend that. Like, I love that. Everybody here is different and lives their life differently, and it's just much more inclusive, which you wouldn't think so, but I truly believe it is. And I'm just loving it. I'm so grateful to be here, and my husband is too. We would never change our path. It definitely was not easy. It was really, really hard on our relationship and on everything, but we made it.
I'm Canadian, but I moved to Mexico 5 years ago now, and I'm having my first Canadian Christmas in a long time. And being here in the cold during December just brings me back to when I was in university. I went to university in Canada, so I had 4 years of just honestly hating my life. Like, I couldn't stand waking up in the morning. It's horrible to say. I was like, oh, I have seasonal depression. No, I didn't. I just lived where it was fucking negative 30 out, and it's horrible to go outside. Like, I need to go outside for my mental health. I think all humans need to be really connected to nature in order to thrive. And I think that if it gets dark at 4 p.m. and then you just have to sit in your house all day, or all night rather, and the alternative is like, okay, you can go to the gym and like work out under really bright artificial lights, and like you have to drive there and it's freezing cold still. Oh my gosh, I honestly have so much sympathy for everybody who's still like living in the cold. I know that's so dramatic, but I just can't with the cold.
I will never buy another property in Ontario ever again. I just got off an LTB hearing for a tenant that owes me $12,000. I applied for this application in July, and we just had our hearing in December, and it almost got canceled because one tiny piece of the paperwork wasn't filed properly. But luckily I talked my way out of that one. And now still have to wait up to 3 months usually to actually get an answer from the adjudicator whether she'll make the tenant pay me back. It took all day. I had to log in at 9 a.m. and I didn't have my actual hearing until 2:30. And then after that, I will have to pay someone to serve this tenant still and garnish their wages if they still have employment. And if the tenant doesn't have a job, then you have absolutely no way of collecting your money. The Ontario real estate market for landlords is an absolute joke.
This is my first post. living in Texas from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So this is going to be my first journey, and letting you guys know how things have happened back in Toronto and how things are happening in Canada that's making us, all leave pretty much. I mean, Toronto and Canada has become something, it's unlivable. I mean, it's unaffordable. Taxes are extremely high. No one can really buy a house unless you put yourself in a situation where, you just want to buy a house, so you're going to have to struggle. So, if you buy a house now up there, it's minimum is $1 million, and that's not getting you a house, a nice house at least. You want to get a condo? Go ahead. They're tiny. The maintenance fees, everything's are expensive up there. Not to mention the weather, it just gets worse and worse every year. Everything just has a price up there that's really a big toll on the family, on yourself. It's crazy how things are going. So we decided to just pick up and leave, and we're in Texas. I've been putting it out there for years that we needed to leave and get out of here, and we did. It took us time. It took us a little bit of time to get there, but it was good. I'm going to be continuing to make videos to showcase what is going on up there and why people should leave. There's no fight up there anymore. There's no point. You have only one life. Why are you going to fight for something that you know you're going to lose? Think about it for a second. What is the point in fighting when you know every single time you try to fight something, especially up there, you get no results? None. They can still continue and do whatever they want. CBC has their money. They don't care. They're pushing their agendas. The political system up there, they will continue to do what they want. There's no accountability. It never, ever was. So whatever you think you're going to do up there to save Canada, it's not going to work. So why don't you take all that energy and effort, instead of doing that, switch it, go find somewhere where you're going to be happy, go find somewhere where you can do something else. Yes, you're comfortable. Yes, you are you have all your family and friends and everybody up there. Sure, I miss them too. But I'm not going to live in a cage, okay, just because I'm comfortable, but uncomfortable at the same time, just to make myself feel like I can't do anything. But you can. You just have to do it. Not saying it's gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth it. That's 100%, especially if you have a family. Think about it. What pros, and you got to really sit down with yourself and say, what pros and cons are there for you to stay there instead of leaving and starting somewhere brand new, different situation, better weather, better on taxes, affordability. You can buy a house, which is amazing. Really put that into perspective, and then when you do, make the decision. So yeah, this whole page is going to be about that. So as you can tell, I'm not really that good at talking like this, but thought I'd give it a shot, try it out. Representing Polo, I guess, from the shirt that I'm wearing. Anyways, to the next video, I'll be more informative about what problems are going on in Canada and why you should get out. Anyways, cheers.
Hey guys, so I wanted to address the elephant in the room, or rather the elephant on my TikTok page. I posted a video of me just sitting on the train talking with the caption that I want to leave Canada back to Jamaica because I'm so unhappy here. And I just wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about why I want to leave Canada, basically. I posted another TikTok video after that and I deleted it because I was like, you know what, I just want to talk more about this specific topic because it blew up and I never thought that that video specifically would blow up in the way that it did. It currently has about 33,000 views and over 600 comments of like persons talking about the experience that they have. And I felt very validated. I felt like, oh my God, there's so many other persons that feel exactly the way that I do. And I just want to talk about that. So I'm going to do that while I do my skincare, which is why my face looks so dry. I already washed my face and I'm just going to use my The Ordinary. So guys, for those of you that do not know, and most of you wouldn't know because I don't post too much of like my personal stuff on TikTok. I do that more so on YouTube. I have a YouTube video. I'll link it in my comments. But I came to Canada in August of 2020, like right in the middle of the pandemic. And I have been here in Toronto for almost 3 years. So August this year will be 3 years. So to be honest, I haven't been in Canada for that long, but let me tell you, I want to leave. Like, I want to leave. I am tired of it. And these are the reasons why. So the first thing is that the depression and my mental health has severely declined since moving to Canada. I've never had this issue before in Jamaica. And I believe the reason for that is just because Canada is a big place. So I'm going to talk specifically about Toronto. But it's very lonely here, especially if you made the move by yourself. It's very lonely, it's difficult to make friends, and even with friends, there is just not that community, that there is not that camaraderie that you have and feel like back home, like if you're from a small island, you know. So it's like really lonely here. People are very much like, you know, focused with blinders on. They don't really see you. You know, people don't see you. People don't really stop to talk to you on the road. I don't know what it is about North America or just specifically Canada, but it gets very lonely here. And I think for me, that was one of the biggest things. The second thing is, before I get into that, I'm going to moisturize with my CeraVe. The second thing is that the weather, compiled with the loneliness, makes it even harder. And also the weather will exacerbate certain health issues that you know may have had but didn't really manifest itself until you moved. So 6 months out of the year it's winter here. The seasonal depression is a real thing, and it's just hard. You're inside all the time. You're not getting vitamin D. You're not getting any sun. And then with the, just the fact that people are really not, close-knit. People don't really talk to you. You don't really have a community here. I feel like you have to be here for years to really develop a community. And you'll never really feel like you belong, if that makes sense, as an immigrant. Like, you're here, but you don't really feel like you belong. I feel that sometimes. So the weather, the loneliness, and a very important thing, the cost of living. I kind of feel like, and listen, take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. I should have made a disclaimer. This is my experience. This is how I feel. And I don't want anybody coming for me. But I kind of feel like I was sold something that's not really, oh my God, that's not really how it is. Like, I was sold a dream. I thought that Canada was a particular way. And then when I came here, I felt like I was ripped off. I felt like it was kind of a scam. And granted, things have changed significantly and drastically over the past few years, especially after the pandemic. But boy, when I tell you, the cost of living here is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Rent prices right now in Toronto average $2,000 to $2,500 for one bedroom, $2,500. And when you compare that to the average wage that person's making in Toronto, which is around $45,000 to $50,000, that makes no sense. An average person in Toronto, an average single person living here will never be able to purchase their own home, and that's a fact. And even if you have a partner, it still would be very, very difficult, and you're going to be house poor. Food prices have risen significantly, and granted, that is there. That's present everywhere right now because of inflation, but coupled with the rising rent prices and just like overall cost of living just to live, right? It's crazy. So I feel like at this point, like I made the move for like to get a better life and new opportunities and stuff like that. And to me, it's like, it's not really working out the way I thought that it would be. So I'm like, why am I here? The point of all of this was to come to make a better life, like to be able to afford certain things that I wouldn't necessarily be able to afford if I was in Jamaica. But honestly, it's just not giving. I'm gonna put on sunscreen. So another one of the things that made me really want to move back to Jamaica rather, is just because of the fact that it's also difficult to find a partner. The dating scene really sucks, and when I tell you it is difficult, I've actually done research on why it is so difficult to date in Toronto, or just the pool is empty. I don't know what people are in the pool, but the people them don't make no sense. That's all I have to say about that. It's really difficult to date here and to like find a partner if you are single, and you know that adds to just the loneliness, the sadness, the depression, whatever. Taxes are really high, and that adds to like the overall cost of living. And yeah, like for the most part, I feel like those are the main reasons why it's like so difficult to be here and to adjust and to like see myself here in the long term. Granted, like I am trying my best to be here and to live and to like explore and to experience everything that this city, this country has to offer, and take advantage of the benefits. So with that being said, I mean, I'm still here obviously, but I feel like in the long term, like Canada may not be for me, and those are some of the reasons why. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to take every single thing that Canada has to offer, every benefit, every opportunity that comes my way. I'm going to take it until such time I'm ready to leave. So I hope you guys, for the persons that commented that they were feeling the same way, go on, hold the faith. You know, just try to stay motivated, try to stay positive, try to meet people, try to go out as much as possible, especially now in the summertime. That's what I'm doing. And yeah, thank you guys so much again for the love and also the support on that video, and I'll see you guys.
Do you know people that are actually deciding, hey, this isn't for me anymore, I'm going to take my business, I'm going to go to a different country, or I'm shutting my business down, I'm going to do something else?
Yeah, way more than not way more, before it was zero.
Yes.
Not only do I have multiple people, just 24 hours ago, a friend of mine sent me a message saying his buddy that runs a cattle farm north of Toronto, shutting it down, doesn't want to be here anymore, moving. I think he's going to Texas, and he's out. We have clients who've moved to Mexico. We have lawyers who tell us 5% of their business now, which they never anticipated, is just helping the Canadian clients they have leave Canada. I've just never, ever had that.
That is risk capital that is leaving our country. What happens when risk capital leaves a country? You lose jobs. If you're not promoting people that are willing to put in capital and risk it and build businesses, then you are now taking that out so that the only thing left is just these conglomerates, these huge businesses, because that's the only people that are left. And the problem is then you just end up with a
Socialism.
Effectively. I think that's scary.
And when you say risk capital, like capitalism is the formation of capital. You take a risk with your capital. If you risk properly, you get rewarded.
Yes.
If you risk incorrectly or poorly, you lose.
As you should.
So we just don't have that happen anymore. So you basically lose capitalism.
So our life has just been bonkers lately. Just because I am a very last minute person, I'm not a planner. So here we are, we're about 30 some days out from completely uprooting and leaving our country. So it's kind of, I mean, it's been a long time coming, and I've wanted to leave for a long time, but I think I never worked up the courage enough to do it. And honestly, there were so many deciding factors for us to completely uproot our life in Canada and just completely move countries. One of them was just, you know, the school system is horrific. The tax system is horrific. The weather is horrific. And it just, you know, even if it wasn't all these things, you know, isn't the dream to like go and retire and sit on a beach? Like, but why do that when you're, you know, 65, when you can, you know, bring your kids to enjoy that kind of life, to explore, and live how you want to live? Why do you have to wait till you're 70 years old to do this? I want to enjoy it now. I want to enjoy it while I'm able-bodied and healthy and have small kids. And so it did take a lot of like brain rewiring to get to this point where I'm okay with.
I moved from Canada to the United States, and I have a serious question for people that are in Canada. You guys not get seasonal depression? Because like I'm back in Toronto for the holidays, and the weather outside just does not make me want to go anywhere. And it just gave me like flashbacks in my head before I moved to Los Angeles. I'm like, bro, we literally by default go into like a hibernation once winter comes along. Is this even good for the mental health? Because I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to step outside. I don't want to go nowhere because I generally just don't want to deal with the snow and the cold weather with no sun. I don't know. I'm starting to realize the seasonal depression thing's actually for real. If you want videos of how I moved from Canada to the United States, follow for more.
I left Canada for multiple reasons, but Sicily reminded me why. We're not supposed to survive our lives. We're not supposed to be working 60 hours a week to afford a house. We're not supposed to have such a big land and so many people and have a big part of the population who can't afford a nice life. We're not supposed to be in a rush all the time. We should definitely be talking to our neighbors. And I'm currently in Canada and I just fell right back where I was before I left. I'm working a lot, like crazy hours. I'm always stressed out and I'm always rushing to get somewhere. And I'm telling you all of this and I'm doing it myself because it's so easy to fall back in your old habits whenever you get back to your old life. In Sicily, I learned to slow down because nobody's stressed out there. Like the only place where people are stressed is in their car because they're driving like crazy. But in general, if somebody tells you they're going to be there at 1 p.m., don't expect them to be there at 1 p.m. They're not in a rush. If you need a service or something to be done fast, don't expect it to happen fast because it's not going to happen. People are going to tell you, yeah, maybe this day in the afternoon, and don't even try to have a specific hour because it's just not going to happen. Businesses are closed in the afternoon and on Sundays in most towns. Unless you're in a big city, like in the touristy area, there's nothing open on a Sunday. And if you try to shop between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., most of the stores are closed. And then try to go have dinner before 8 p.m. No, the chef's not going to be there. Don't even ask. So anyways, all of this to say that Sicily, it just blew my mind and I'm so happy to be able to live there.
A record 106,134 Canadians left the country in 2024, the most since 1967. Why? Well, violent crime is up 39% since 2015. Grocery prices are up 21% in the last 3 years. Rent prices are up 22% since 2023. Real wages are falling. 1 in 2 young Canadians say they've lost hope in Canada's future. When your country stops working for you, you go elsewhere.
I'm leaving Canada tomorrow after 10 years living in Canada with no permanent residence. I've been here since high school, university, and 3-year work permit. The expert entry score right now is 533 today. For people who live outside Canada, don't understand about this role, or Canadian who born and raised here, so they never heard about it. You basically need a master degree, 8 points in IELTS, which you have to be more natural or fluent than native speaker, and 3 to 5 years working under tier 0 or tier 1, which you have to be a director of a company or like work in a very high positions in any field. In addition, you have to speak French. So after 10 years living here, they just kicking me out tomorrow. Although I own a degree, I speak a very fluent English, very natural here. Pay taxes, work 7 days a week. They don't care. They just...
I'm 21 years old and I'm about to get on a one-way plane ticket to leave Canada straight to Thailand. And you may be asking why. There's an abundance of reasons, but right now Canada is headed in a direction that I'm just not a fan of. So there's that. 2, the weather. I am sick and tired of the snow. 3, the food. 4, the people. I could go on and on, but Thailand is an ultimate destination to level up in all aspects of your life, to get that freedom, to just get that sense of peace. People are just so nice and calm and just, they live in the moment over there. They're not so caught up in all this media bullshit. But yeah, I've been able to do this because I've been working on an online business for the past year and a half. It's been nothing but grinding. It's not easy. All these online gurus try to tell you this shit's easy. It's not. It's basically a full-time job, but I'm passionate about it and I'm here to basically give as much value as I can and show the ins and outs and the entire journey of being an entrepreneur, figuring it out on his own. So yeah, if you want to watch some solo travel in Thailand, make sure you drop your boy a follow. Let's go.
I am finally moving out of Canada. So let's talk about it. Many of you already know that I really don't like living in this country. So for now, let's talk about some goals I have for 2026. Of course, you can see by now, leaving Canada is one of my main goals for this year. And just a few of the factors that initially went into this decision process for me was, of course, the weather. It's shit here. I really hate the cold. And of course, for like a lot of health reasons and the lifestyle, food quality here is not good. It's really hard to get outside most of the year and move my body. Naturally, I just want to be a healthier being, and I feel like I can't be that here. And lastly, the dating world, which we can all agree on. It is terrible here. The divorce culture is high, the cheating culture, the situationships, the everything. It feels like scary Sundays, but like every single day of the week. So if you are also feeling this way, stay tuned because this is going to be a whole other journey in itself. Another goal I have for this year is that I really want to get better at speaking to my phone and doing more talking videos. Talking content has always been a major fear of mine, and I feel like it's held me back a lot from progressing in my social media journey, especially with this year being such a huge transformative year for me. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot more to say. One of my third goals does go hand in hand with moving out of Canada, and that is to learn a new language. I've wanted to learn a new language for a really long time, and I feel like I'm committed now more than ever, especially with moving out of the country. I'm going to need to learn a new language for where I'm going. Another goal I have for this year is to be more consistent in the gym. I find that in the summer, I'm way more active just because I can get outside and do different forms of exercise. I'm tired of feeling like trash half the year. I'm going to give myself as much grace as possible until it gets warmer outside, but hopefully once I move to a new country, I will be able to be more consistent because it will just be warm outside all year round. And of course, I have many other goals for this year, but those are the main gist. And if you're wanting to follow along on my journey and hear more about my decision of moving out of Canada, stay tuned because we are going to divulge. Bye!
So I made the choice to leave Canada.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
So, almost 12 years ago, I made a bold step to leave Nigeria and move to Canada to pursue my education as an international student. It was scary, but exciting at the same time. And almost 12 years later, I've grown from the young skinny boy I used to be. And in these 12 years, I've worked in the Canadian space for about 8 years. I've made some friends along the way. I've built a network. And I've been in a very fortunate position where my family is now based in Canada as well. Mom, dad, my siblings, excluding my sister. She chose to be in the UK. No idea why. They drive on the wrong side of the road in the first place. But yeah, made some investments, started some businesses that are thriving. And I would say over the last couple of years, the Canada I came to has changed. For the better? I don't know. Personally, when it comes to business and my professional life, I felt I was running into a brick wall. I knew I have a lot to give. There's still a lot in me to give. So I made the choice to leave Canada. Is this a permanent move? I don't know. Well, let's see where it takes me. It is scary. But like they say, fortune favors the brave. I'm a big believer of if you want to do something, proximity is key. So yes, now I am based in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley here in California. So far, it's going okay. Lots to learn. I'm coming up to speed. I am starting all over. So it is scary again. But I know I have what it takes. So wish me good luck. I still have my family and friends, my network in Canada. I still have my businesses, my investments in Canada. So no, don't worry too much, alright? This is not goodbye. You will be seeing me more in Canada. But for now, my new HQ is here in California. But until next time, I remain the one and only Kelly Cash. Yeah, that's all I've got. Thank you.
This is the real story many are afraid to share. Subscribe to Canada Voices for honest experiences and real conversations.